So, Namaskar Award. In looking to the future of engineering, there must be, as never before, a focus on excellence. Engineering schools and the institutions, both public and private, that they serve through their graduates must concentrate on the quality rather than the number of graduates produced. The Namaskar Foundation seeks to encourage and support North Carolina A&T State University's College of Engineering in its efforts to produce graduates of superior quality. It has accordingly established an award for engineering excellence and leadership. The purpose of the award is to provide each year a tangible recognition of a graduating senior engineering student who has excelled as a scholar and has demonstrated qualities of professionalism and leadership as an undergraduate student. It is intended to draw attention to the importance of excellence in engineering and to encourage students to strive for excellence in their endeavors. The award will comprise a keepsake and a stipend from the Namaskar Foundation. The keepsake may be a medal, medallion, key, or other object suitable for display, which will be a source of identification and pride for the recipient. Each candidate is required to submit a dossier that includes his or her accomplishments. A committee of faculty members in the College of Engineering interviews each of the candidates. So at this time, I'd like to recognize those committee members that are here. A couple could not be here, but those that are here. See Professor Ron Bailey there from Civil and Architectural Engineering. Dr. Chris Dawes from Electrical and Computer Engineering. And the other committee members were Dr. Matthew McCullough from Chemical and Bioengineering, Dr. Intuin from Industrial and System Engineering, Professor Sharon Brown from Computer Science, and Dr. Kumar from Mechanical Engineering. So recipients are selected based on scholarship, professionalism, and leadership. So at this time, it's with great pleasure that I present this year's nominees for the Namaskar Award. Candidates, as your names are called, please make your way to the stage. Isaiah Diaz from Industrial and Systems Engineering. Bria Macklin from Chemical and Bioengineering. Ferris Matter from Civil and Architectural Engineering. Christopher Rice from Computer Science. And Kristen Wiedenheft from Mechanical Engineering. So each candidate has been asked to speak for 3 to 4 minutes on their experience at North Carolina A&T and their plans after graduation. Once the candidates are done, Dr. Robin Koger, Dean for the College of Engineering, will come forward and present the award for this year's Namaskar winner.
Good evening. My name's Isaiah Diaz. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. After I graduated high school, I originally went to Johnson & Wells down in Charlotte. I took culinary arts. I graduated with an associate's degree. I cooked a little bit down in Charlotte in Carolina Medical Center, and then I also cooked here at A&T in the cafeteria. If you don't like the food, I probably had a hand in that for a while. But I felt like culinary arts wasn't for me. It was something I was good at, but being a career, it just wasn't something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I had other dreams and goals. Talking to like other people, just networking, I met a recruiter for A&T. She told me about industrial systems engineering. I did my research. I fell in love with it. I felt, after I learned about industrial systems engineering, I felt like culinary arts was an expensive way for me to learn something I didn't want to do for the rest of my life. But, with just research, you find things you want to do. Now, about to graduate. I know I want to go back to school, get a master's degree, maybe get a PhD, maybe get an MBA one day. It's just where my career is going to take me. But I just know A&T has set me up for greatness. And being nominated for this award is a great honor. It's nice to know that our hard work hasn't gone unnoticed. Even though I'm standing here, there are many that have helped me get to this point. Some may be sitting amongst you, but the majority isn't. We all have family and friends, faculty and mentors that have been motivating and pushing us to this level. And without them, none of this will be possible. And like I said, A&T has given us a great foundation for success. It is now up to us to continue with this level of dedication and success. And I wish everybody nothing but the best. Thank you.
I'm short, so we can put this in here. Good evening. Okay, so I would first like to say how honored I am to represent the Chemical, Biological, and Bioengineering Department as this year's Namaskar Award nominee, specifically as a bioengineering student, which is one of the most recent majors in my department and the College of Engineering. So the Namaskar Award is awarded on the basis of engineering excellence and leadership. And one of the questions that I was asked throughout the process is, what is your definition of engineering excellence? And I know you heard Dean Parrish, he kept emphasizing engineering excellence. And you know, I had never really thought about what engineering excellence was. So sure, I'm sure that all of us could think about words to describe what we think excellence is, but engineering excellence is a little bit different. So I sat with it and I thought about it, and I think that I have come up with a word that describes what at least I think engineering excellence is, and that word is devotion. So engineers working in their respective fields have devoted their lives to producing tangible products that serve to make our lives better. Think about where the world would be without engineers like Edwin Armstrong in the FM radio, the Wright brothers in aircrafts, Percy Spencer in the microwave. The devotion of these engineers has produced some examples of what I think is engineering excellence. So engineering excellence is not something that's only present at the level of professional engineers. Engineering excellence begins with engineering education. The devotion of the institution to produce knowledgeable and functional engineers is critical. I ended up at North Carolina A&T State University not by chance, but by choice. As a transfer student, I can truly attest to the devotion the College of Engineering has to its students. I can honestly say that at A&T, every faculty, staff, and administrator I have crossed paths with has done everything in his or her power to help me succeed. And it is the devotion of these peoples which allows North Carolina A&T to graduate the highest number of African American engineers, and that is something that is engineering excellence. So the devotion of the student to their studies is very important, but something unique that I've noticed at A&T is the devotion of the students to one another. And like being in McNair is like being surrounded by a giant family. And I know that it's like very cliche to say that, but I think we can all like attest that it's very true. Like there's never a day that you're gonna walk into that first floor computer lab and ask somebody for help with anything and no one's gonna offer their assistance or advice. We've all like been through the same struggles. We've all struggled through statics tests. We've all struggled through SolidWorks projects. We've all struggled through trying to find the fastest way to get from Martina to McNair in 10 minutes. So I know for a fact that the support system I have found in my fellow classmates has played a major role in my academic success. So just as A&T is devoted to me, I'm devoted to A&T by proudly representing my university everywhere I go. Over the past summers, I've had the opportunity to represent my university at research programs at Johns Hopkins University and the University of Pennsylvania, often being one of the few students from an HBCU. I've represented my university at several research symposiums, including the annual Biomedical Research Symposium for minority students and the North Carolina Academy of Sciences. I've represented my university with the It Girl LLC, a Baltimore-based mentoring program which teaches young girls college and career planning skills. I have represented my university as a Mark Scholar, a National Institute of Health funded fellowship, which prepares minority students to enter doctoral research programs. In this upcoming fall semester, I look forward to representing my university as a doctoral student at the Johns Hopkins University Chemical and Biological Engineering PhD program. So my answer to the question, what does engineering excellence mean to you, is devotion. I have devoted these past 4 years to engineering, and I plan on devoting many, many more. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ferris Matar, and I'm just going to briefly talk about myself and my experience here at A&T. I was born and raised in Bethlehem, Palestine. I moved to the U.S. around 7 years ago, where I actually went to high school in the Seattle area. And when it came time to, go to college, I've always knew I wanted to do civil engineering because of the infrastructure. I grew up in Palestine, where the infrastructure isn't nearly as developed as the infrastructure in the U.S. So I've always wanted to, trying to look at the engineering aspect and look at ways in the future where I could maybe improve or develop, the Palestinian infrastructure. So I actually had a couple of friends that went to A&T at that time, for the civil engineering program, and they told me about, good stuff about it. So I came here and visited, and I talked to some of the professors, and I thought, I really thought it was the right fit for me. So, and when I first came here, the first thing that I've noticed is that the school, or whether it was the College of Engineering or the professors, they really try to offer us, a lot of opportunities, whether it was research opportunities, internship opportunities, or organizational, membership. So, and because of that, I was able to land internships in both the public and private sector of the civil and environmental engineering field. And I was also able to do some research with one of the best professors in our department in the wastewater and water treatment field. And also with the organizational, with the student organizations, I was lucky enough to get leadership positions in the American Society of Civil Engineers as well as the Institute of Transportation Engineers. And I really thought that those organizations, it helped me not just grow as a leader, but also as a student inside the classroom and a person outside the classroom. And one more thing is that what I like about the program here at A&T is that it's not a big program, but it's also not a small program. So we kind of get the pros of both sides. That's why we have one of the best one-on-one student to teacher ratio that kind of helps us communicate with the professors. I mean, for 2 semesters in a row, I took 20 credit hour semesters, and while working part-time, so it was really helpful to know that professors always try to help us and, give us, or at least navigate us to the right path. And so again, I'd like to thank the faculty and staff of the Civil Engineering Department for nominating me for this award, and the College of Engineering, Dean Koury, and Mr. Parrish for their help, and thank you and have a great night.
Greetings and salutations to Dean Koury, North Carolina A&T faculty and staff, corporate personnel, and beloved Aggie student family. I am honored to stand before you as a Namaskar candidate. All of us have unique journeys to Aggieland. Some of us were predestined to become Aggies through family alumnus ties. Others decided to enroll on a limb. My story is a little different. After completing applications to 12 colleges and universities as a first-generation college student and being accepted into all of them, selecting the college to attend was not an easy decision to make. Furthermore, I applied to these universities as an elementary education major due to the desire to serve as an influential role model to hopeful children of our future. After completing final interviews for the North Carolina Teaching Fellows Award and not being selected as an award recipient, I immediately felt a sense of failure that resulted in ambivalence. Following a heart-to-heart with my father, I realized, I had an epiphany. Sorry. The hobbies I enjoyed most related to use of a computer. During middle and high school, I had a MySpace account, as many of us here did, but did not realize updating my profile with HTML code was a form of computer science. Throughout junior and senior years of high school, I was exposed to a research program at North Carolina A&T structured around science and technology. At one of the succeeding research meetings, I raised a question about the College of Engineering that enabled the final piece of the puzzle to fall into place. I knew at that point that majoring in computer science at A&T was the best option to pursue. This eventually became the best decision I ever made. From day one of my first semester on campus, I've had the privilege to collaborate with outstanding students, learn from expert professors, and increase career preparation and awareness through organizations such as the Office of Career Services. I served as a resident assistant for Aggie Suites E and Aggie Village 4 residence halls, which led to my first internship with Marathon Petroleum. Believe it or not, I enjoyed work more than expected and went on to complete 5 additional internships and co-ops with AdTran Incorporated and Bank of America, which is where I will be returning this summer. These experiences quickly exposed me to a level of independence I never thought I would attain when arriving to campus as an Aggie, expanding my comfort zone to new heights. Little did I know I would also meet my fiance. Starting our journey as Thank you. Starting our journeys as Aggies, most of us have desired to find love, but not marriage. At least that's what I thought. But when you find someone that faithfully loves and motivates you each day, it's hard to picture life without them. Although the structure of our Aggie journeys are different, we share commonality in what we've come to love about A&T. Standing in fried chicken Friday lines, poor phone reception during homecoming festivities, and the fire alarms going off at the worst times of the night. But on a more serious note, our ideals of equality and importance of education are things we as Aggies embody. Consider the Greensboro 4's courageous acts of social reform on February 1st, 1960. That same level of persistence for justice reigns today, as demonstrated on March 26, 2012, 1 month after the shooting of Trayvon Martin, when more than 100 students laid down to stand up outside of McNair Hall. Recollect on the protest formed 2 months ago for Eric Garner, and combine these things with the level of forward progression we are exhibiting right now by being present at this banquet to network with professionals in our field of study. Bringing our whole self to the classroom, research and work experiences supports Preeminence 2020 and has led to our university being ranked #1 out of all other HBCUs in the state. Based on these milestones, we are Aggie Pride, achieving great goals in everything, producing renowned individuals dedicated to excellence. Thank you for your time, and God bless.
Good evening. My name is Chris Wiedenheft. I've been asked to say a few words about my experiences here at A&T, but really first I want to give you a little bit of context. I finished my associate's degree quite a number of years ago at a small community college in upstate New York. And I really got 2 things out of that experience. I got the fundamentals of physics and calculus, and I got a piece of paper. That piece of paper got my resume past the computers and into the hands of a real person. With that piece of paper, I got to go from being a machine operator to a technician at a research and development facility. And even at that time, I knew that I needed to come back and finish my education. But life happens, and someday wasn't today, and it wasn't looking like it was going to be tomorrow anytime soon either. And then the downturn happened, and an investment group bought my company and cut a third of the workforce, and suddenly I had time. So we moved in temporarily with some family in Greensboro, North Carolina. I knew I wanted to go to school for engineering based on my work experience, and I started looking around at schools. Now, I didn't need to stay in Greensboro, but when I looked for engineering schools, there was a perfectly good one right here. And when I looked to see who was recommending it, well, it was recommended by the most important people in my mind at the time. The number of companies that were coming in and recruiting engineering students from A&T at the career fairs said to me that this was an excellent program. So I came to school with some pretty simple expectations. I expected a few years of hard work, and I expected to leave with a piece of paper that would get me a good job. That was pretty much it. I was right about the hard work. I was really concerned about trying to pull back all of that fundamental knowledge that I had learned so many years ago. And the first semester was really a struggle. And then several of the students reached out to me and invited me to join their study groups. And that was my first introduction, really, to the community at A&T, this sense that we're all in this together. And that's a big deal. So if you'd asked me a decade ago where I'd be in 2015, there's no way that I could have anticipated that I'd be finishing my bachelor's degree. Never mind this very humbling experience about being nominated for this award. But let me be clear, I didn't do this by myself. I'm very clear that success does not happen in a vacuum. I spent years of my life working just as hard as I'm working now, and most of that felt pretty much like banging my head against a wall. And here at A&T, on multiple occasions, individuals have come to me and said, "Chris, why are you banging your head against this wall when there's a door right here?" And I have tried very hard to share that with my fellow students, to point out the doors that I see. And I think that's just part of being an Aggie. I came here specifically to get myself into a career in industry. And somewhere along the way, my plans changed. I have no doubt that the preparation I've had would allow me to step into a career in industry just fine. But I've decided to go into graduate school, and I can report with pride that this school does a great job of preparing you for that also. Ultimately, I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's really important to remember that we don't do this by ourselves. It's all about the community that makes it possible. I really value that here at A&T, we as a community value not just the education, but also the ability to share our experiences and to share our opportunities and the opportunities we see but that we can't take advantage. We make sure those don't get fallen through the cracks. I'm very grateful to be a part of this community. And of all the decisions I've made, of all the schools that I've attended, and there have been a few, this decision to come to A&T has been one of the best of my life. Thank you.
So are you starting to see why this is my favorite college event? Wow. And so standing before you are the finalists for this year's Namaskar Award. And it is definitely and has been a tough decision for the committee, no doubt. And thank you for serving in that role. We really appreciate it. And it is my honor to drum roll silently, right? To let you know who this year's winner is. The winner of the 2015 Namaskar Award of the College of Engineering at North Carolina A&T is Chris. Sam, would you mind coming up? Sam Koury, would you mind coming up? We're gonna take a picture opportunity. So. This is always just an honor because as you listen to the stories of each individual, and yet you always hear a theme that flows through it. And so Aggie Pride runs strong, and it comes in a lot of different ways, but it's tangible. Can you feel it? Yeah. And so it's what makes us so proud about being here. And so I also want to make sure I give the plaques to each of the finalists, because really, can you join me in giving them all applause?